Alright, another week is done, and we have some more gaming news. This week was a little quiet until about Friday, but here is the recap of all the news that has happened this week. We're going to start off with the recently finished Season 1 of HBO's The Last of Us. Personally, I think it was a really good show, and I definitely recommend it, but let's talk about it. So The Last of Us Season 2 on HBO could get radically different from the game. Showrunner Craig Mazin said producers will deviate from The Last of Us Part 2 where and when they need to, just as they did with Season 1. I'm not going to spoil too much for those who haven't watched it, but for example, in Season 1, Bill's section in the game is vastly different than what they did in the show, and I honestly liked how they did it in the show better, but I understand how that wouldn't work in a video game. That was one of the biggest changes, and I think one of the most recognizable changes, and I'd like to see where they change certain gameplay aspects of Last of Us 2 to make it into a show, because it's very gameplay heavy, and a lot of people didn't really like the story of Last of Us 2. I don't think that's a hot take to say, so I'd like to see how they translate it into a show and see if people like the show better. Season 2 will be different, just as this season was different from the first game, Mazin said. Sometimes it will be different radically, and sometimes it will be barely different at all. But it's going to be different, and it will be its own thing. It won't be exactly like the game. It will be the show that Neil and I want to make. And it's confirmed that Bella Ramsey will continue on as Ellie in Season 2, which makes sense. She's definitely old enough to play older Ellie. I wonder if they'll, do anything to age her up, though. I know Ellie has shorter hair in the second game, so I don't know if they'll give her a haircut for the next season to make her look older, but I am curious how they're going to translate this very gameplay-heavy game into the next season. But I also have some different Last of Us news to talk about, but we will go down to our giraffe expert correspondent, Jason. Jason, take it away.
The giraffe! The giraffe is real! Hot debate this past week, is The Last of Us giraffe real? I thought the same question when watching the season finale, but the answer is yes, it is real. There's no debate. The question is, why did it look so bad? And I think that's because it was filmed on a blue screen set. I had assumed that they would at least have that little window in that building that they look at the giraffe with. That would be real, but the behind the scenes screenshot shows that everything in that shot is blue screen. So I think everything being imposed on a fake background just made it look extra bad. And in case you weren't aware, those are Toys R Us commercials, because Jeffrey the giraffe, you get it.
Thank you for that information, Jason. Our next story is the Pokémon Go Leaks. The Pokeminers website recently revealed several features in development for Pokemon Go, including move modifiers for raid battles. According to the leakers, these modifiers change how a move performs during battle, and the condition that triggers these modifiers can be a variety of things. Some examples speculated by the Pokeminers are conditions based on cooldown, usage, and moment. The leakers emphasize that this is a path for Niantic to follow should the devs decide to add two famous mechanics from the main series to Pokemon Go. One is the Z moves from Pokemon Sun and Moon, and the second is Gigantamax Pokemon from Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, I haven't played Pokemon Go since, the craze of Pokemon Go, but let me know, Pokemon Go players, how is the experience playing it today, and what you would like to see in Pokemon Go in the future. So this isn't leak-related news, but we have rumor-related news. CD Projekt Red addresses the Edgerunners rumor for Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. If you don't know, Phantom Liberty is the DLC that will launch sometime this year, and CD Projekt Red actually addressed rumors about the DLC. Details about what these fans can expect in Cyberpunk 2077's Phantom Liberty campaign have been released at a steady pace over the past few months. So far, it's been revealed that V will enter Pacifica's crime-ridden Dogtown area and join forces with a mysterious FIA agent, Solomon Reed, played by Idris Elba. A recent rumor has suggested that Phantom Liberty could see a special appearance from Falco. If you don't know, he was a supporting character in Cyberpunk Edgerunners. However, it appears this rumor was shut down by the developer behind Cyberpunk 2077. Not too long after the rumor began, CD Projekt Red PR lead Adam Grabowski verified on social media that the leak from Cyberpunk 2077's Phantom Liberty was not part of the game, meaning neither Falco nor the spacefaring Crystal Palace Casino shown in the leak footage would be in the upcoming expansion. And as you can see, the direct quote on the screen. It says, "Sorry, Paul, but this is not a leak. We do not have this content neither in Phantom Liberty nor in the base game. There could still be some Easter eggs to Edge Runners in the DLC, but it's not seeming very likely. It really seems like Cyberpunk wants this to be its own thing. Edge Runners, I know, is not getting a season 2. I'm pretty sure they confirmed that a while ago. So it seems like Cyberpunk really likes having these separate projects and not really blending much. They did add some content from Edge Runners, like they added some items to the base game, but it really seems like Phantom Liberty wants to be its own thing, and I think that's fine. Obviously, Edge Runners got very popular. It was the Crunchyroll Awards Anime of the Year, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of people definitely want more things related to Edge Runners, but I don't think they're really going to get much more outside of the Netflix anime, unfortunately. Probably the biggest news coming out recently was the Persona 5 The Phantom X, which is a mobile game set in the Persona 5 universe. Publisher Perfect World Games and developer Black Wings Game Studio have officially announced Persona 5 The Phantom X for iOS and Android. A release date was not announced, but it will be free-to-play title with item-based in-app purchases. Currently, a release has only been confirmed for China, but I assume it's going to be in other places other than China, because Persona 5 is... At this point, it's not Persona is a massive franchise, obviously it is, but arguably Persona 5 alone is becoming this massive franchise that doesn't seem to be stopping. We have Persona 5, Persona 5 Royal, Persona 5 Dancing All Night, we have Persona 5 Strikers, and now Persona 5 The Phantom X. So that's 5 games, unless I'm missing something, all just about Persona 5. Persona 5 The Phantom X is a completely new title based on the world of Persona 5 and set in Tokyo, and follows an original story surrounding a new group of Phantom Thieves. The style and basic gameplay of the original game are preserved, while the graphics have been brushed up, and the user experience and presentation optimized for smartphone users. The game is focused on the theme of desire and tells the story of students who have awakened their personas, facing difficulties together in an era of low desire. A mysterious old man with a long nose, a strange underwater room, and another world separate from reality. These seemingly unrelated things are all somehow connected. Players will take on the role of a student attending classes during the day and participating in activities such as baseball or watching movies with friends during their free time. After school, they can infiltrate the other world, which appears in the form of palaces with different themes to use their personas to engage in high-octane battles against enemies. So far, the footage looks amazing. I don't know how this is going to really work on smartphones, if this is just the best-looking footage on high-end phones, or we're just getting some pre-rendered cutscenes, and it's not going to look as good in the game. I'm a little skeptical. I'm not a big fan of mobile games myself, but it does look really good, and because it's free-to-play, I'm assuming there's going to be gacha mechanics or some type of microtransaction mechanics that is either going to really hinder it and nobody's going to want to play it, or they could implement them in a more tasteful way, but I think the main thing that might happen is gacha mechanics for different Phantom Thieves. So far, the reception has been pretty mixed on this game. People agree it does look really good. However, people are kind of tired of Persona 5. From comments I saw on TikTok about people talking about this already and Twitter, people are tired of Persona 5. They want to go on to Persona 6, which is understandable. And the high school setting, again, people have been begging for a Persona where it's into early adulthood or college, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. But I understand that people are just done with Persona 5. They want to move on. I feel like that sentiment was starting with Strikers, because Strikers to me was an okay game. This is really cementing people wanting Persona 6 and are done with Persona 5. I have high hopes for this game. I would definitely try it out when it does come here, just to see how it is. I've played through every iteration of Persona 5, so I did Platinum Royal, but I think this could be a fun addition to the Persona 5 lineup, but we shall see. There's very little details out right now. And we're gonna end off the video with some good news. The Resident Evil 4 Remake reviews have dropped. Resident Evil 4 Remake comes out soon, but many reviews dropped today, and it already seems like it's a contender for Game of the Year, and it's only March. So IGN gave it a 10 out of 10 and said it was a masterpiece. The Resident Evil 4 Remake finally brings the series' iconic suplex back into the spotlight. creating a masterclass in gaming very few titles can touch. The good Melee is back. The suplex is now an actual suplex by wrestling definition. Suplexing enemies provides a true survival horror experience. Nothing is more satisfying than blowing a granny's back out. Melee is kinetic, versatile, and satisfying. Leon's hair. The bad should have had even more wrestling moves. Obviously, this is more of a jokey review, but it seems like every other outlet has been giving this a 10 out of 10. IGN, VG247, Gaming Bolt, The Gamer, Push Square, Shack News, VGC, AOTF, Carol Quintain, GameSpot, Gaming Trend, Easy Allies, Giant Bomb. Some of these publications I've never even heard of, but everyone across the board is giving Resident Evil 4 Remake either a 9 or a 10. I have not seen anything lower than a 9 for Resident Evil 4 Remake. So I think it's safe to say that this might be the game of the year, if not a contender for game of the year. Of course, we still have Zelda coming out and many other games coming out because it is only still March. But I think it's a safe bet to say that this will be featured as a Game of the Year contender for many people. And that is the Bad News Jules show. Let me know if I missed any news in the comments. What are you most excited for out of all the news that I discussed? Will you be picking up Resident Evil 4 Remake? Let me know down in the comments. I read every single one. If you did like this video, give it a big thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. And if you did like this gaming update and want to see more of them in the future, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you know as soon as they drop and join the conversation. I have a Discord server. Feel free to find any news and drop it in there for me to talk about next week. And I will see y'all for the next video. Thank you for watching.